So, hello, welcome everybody. I am here with the fabulous Raj, and we are going to paint each other's dogs today. So, yeah, this will be fun. I haven't done this in a while. I did a couple of live dog paintings a couple of months ago, and they are great fun, but I think it's even better fun with somebody else. So, I'm delighted to welcome Raj. I love her style. I can't wait to see what she does with my dog, Thomasina, and I'm going to be painting her dogs soon to arrive, Daisy, who's a puppy, and Nala, both giant schnauzers. I was about to say giant shepherds. What a great start.
Yeah.
Giant schnauzers. So, yeah, we are going to flip our cameras over, and there'll probably be a bit of fiddling around, and hopefully you can see what we're doing, and we're just probably going to grill each other about what we're doing. And I'll try not to watch Raj too much and, not do any painting myself.
Well, I've given you a challenge because you've got to do black dogs, and that's always a challenge. Whereas I'm lucky that you've got a light coloured dog with some kind of patchy tones in there, and I think that makes it a little bit easier for me. So yeah,
I don't know. I love a black dog. I think there's lots of colour in there if you look, or sometimes you make it up, and that's great. Okay.
Shall we flip?
Let's flip. Okay.
All right. So bear with us while we set up. And
actually, in theory, I can't actually see what you're doing.
Okay.
Because my camera is above my head.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a little bit of a job trying to dodge the overhead so that I don't accidentally knock it while I'm working. It's always a bit of a challenge.
Having said that, I suppose I could join live, but then let's just paint.
Yes, let's do it. So I do have my laptop handy because I'm able to so I can look at the image references you've sent me of Thomasina.
Yeah, I've got one here with your two.
Yeah. If I see any questions coming up as well, I should be able to see them as well. So anyone watching, if you do want to ask any questions, would be thrilled to answer. Jo, would you like to just share your approach and how you work?
Yeah. Well, sorry, this is great. Actually, I invite you on my live, and you do all the work. So, perfect. So yeah, I'm just showing the two images that I'm working from. I've got my iPad here. So on the left is Daisy, puppy, and on the right is Nala. And I'm just going to have that sat next to me while we paint. I'm going to see if I can just come down a bit on the screen, because I've cheated slightly, and I just did when you only sent me the photos not that long ago.
No.
So I've done a couple of really, really quick sketches. And I'll just see if I can move this over a bit, of both dogs, but this one of Nala you can probably see a bit better. So just a really quick pencil outline. What I start with is there's a couple of bits of white, like in the eye and things like that, and I like to preserve that because I don't trust myself not to paint over it. So I'm a very messy painter. So I just use some Winsor & Newton masking fluid, and I've got this lovely little thing. I think it's used for clay modelling. It's called an angle chisel soft color shaper, and it's just a little rubber. It's a little rubber edge. It's very flexible, and I just dip it in and do that. And then so all I'm doing is putting a dot on the eye there, and that's probably it because there's not really any white, not much white there. So that just keeps the white of the paper, and I can paint a bit more loosely. I'm not worried about preserving white bits on the page.
Nice.
And then really I'll do quite quick ones here. So I just basically do 2 to maybe 3 layers of watercolor. I do a loose wash on both of them. Let that dry. I might deploy the hairdryer. If I do, I think I can mute myself, can't I?
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then I go in with maybe some midtones and then some darks right at the end.
Nice.
So I'm hoping I'll get to do both. We were thinking about 30 minutes, weren't we? But I think we may go over a bit.
Yeah. let's see how we go. If anyone joining knows the way that I like to work, I work quite loose. So, and I work quite quickly. So I'm really interested in capturing some kind of expressive marks and lines. So what I've got here is I've got, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to end up using, but I've recently rediscovered the art graph, and I bought this a couple of years ago, and it was one of those bits of equipment
Oh,
that I didn't really fall in love with. I couldn't quite get to grips with the language of it. And then recently I pulled it out and I thought, oh, let me just, oh, sorry, drop the lid. Very professional. I thought, well, let's just kind of rediscover it because there's something really nice about being able to just work with this as a kind of a mid layer. And you can get sort of dark tones with it. It's got a lovely kind of graphitey texture. It is liquid graph. I mean, it's a graphite block that you use with a brush. If anyone knows about it, and I quite like that as almost a place to start to map things out. So that's what I was thinking. I've also got a an Inktense um, in peacock blue. This is actually not the dark. I wanted the dark one, but I think that could still be nice. And then I've picked up a watercolor pen, so I've got a dark indigo Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor marker, and that gives some variation because I'll have the option to just do a little bit of detail work for the really dark parts, but I can also go kind of broad. I'm hoping that you can see all that. Yeah, I can also go kind of broad with it. Um, and I've recently discovered this, and I haven't seen it in many places. This, and I'm a big fan of brush pens. Brush pens have become a real go-to for me, and the dog portraits that I'm working with as commissions, I'm using a lot of brushwork. This is called the Pentel Milky Brush. I don't know if anybody's ever come across these before,
I've
but
never heard of that. That sounds really
yeah,
up my street.
I'm not really quite sure. I don't know much about it, but anyway, I took a chance, and you shake it and you get a sort of, and you can sort of push the back and you can get a kind of a nice, uh, almost like a paint on there, but it's got enough of an opacity that you get the brush mark, but you can also work on top. So you can see I've just gone on top of that watercolor and even the ink dents. It will
Oh,
obviously pick up a
nice.
bit of ink dents, but it's quite nice. It's a quite a nice fun thing to use. So um, I figured I'd just have that in the mix. Okay. So I've chatted about my materials now. I should probably start actually painting.
I've
Um,
just been watching you, so I've only just started painting myself. So don't
sorry.
worry. No, it's great. I'm as anyone. Well, if you know me, I'm really quite nosy, so I just love what other people use and what they're doing, and yeah,
I'm always interested in the way that you work because with watercolor, I feel like there's an important, you have to understand how to respectfully treat the medium, I think. And that's always scared me a little bit. So when I see how you're able to work so quickly, um, I'm
yeah.
really,
I think that phrase "respectfully work with watercolor" doesn't really sort of apply with me. I'm very much. I consider myself very heavy-handed with it and very sort of loose, and I'm all about the happy accidents. So it's like with this, I've just put my first layer on, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop some extra color in and let the watercolor sort of do its magic. So I've got some like neutral tint on my brush, which is the first wash I've done. I think is a bit of burnt sienna and ultramarine that I've just mixed into this sort of nice grey. And I have to be careful here because the water's still wet, so I don't want it to become too dark. But there's some just areas of shading that are just going to go in with some really dark colour, and it'll just flow out. And there's this lovely bit around the eye, and you get some nice sort of happy accidents happening here.
hmm.
Um, there we
Yeah,
go
but
down
that's
there.
the bit that I find is frightening because there's an element of like letting go with watercolor, isn't there? That you don't really know what's going to happen with it sometimes, I find.
There is, and I think that's kind of my, I guess, my favourite part of
Yeah.
it. It's so easy just to do a bit too much though, and overwork it. And again, it always looks so much paler when it dries. It's not always quite like that,
Yeah.
as dark as it appears. And I think as well, if you cannot be too precious about the paper, that was a big block for me early on. Was basically, oh, the paper's too good, so I can't waste it. Um,
Mm.
Now I love that. That is so Tom. Anyway,
Oh,
oh
I
yeah.
know. I'm thinking the same when I see little Daisy Bell appearing, and she hasn't arrived to us yet. But I'm just so excited when I see her appearing on the page. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, this is dried a bit down here on the right, so it's not going to do what I was wanting. So again, occasionally, if it's just dried a bit too much, I'll go in with a little spray bottle, just give it a little squirt. Um,
I'm just looking quickly at some of the comments. Emma is here. Hello, Emma. Yes, I've seen. Emma says she loves art graph, and I've seen you use it to great effect, Emma. You are quite a master of it. Um, Milky Brush. Yes. Emma is asking Jo, which watercolors do you use?
oh yes, good question. I generally veer towards Daniel Smith colours, and that is primarily, it's Daniel Smith or Holbein paints. Very occasionally I use Schminky paints, and I've still got a few De La Roni, Winsor & Newton. So a bit of everything, but generally I'd say my collection of paints is more and more Daniel Smith these days.
Mm. And what was it that, like, do you find that there's quite a difference in the quality of them when you're working with them, or is there a sort of difference in the color ranges available?
I think with Daniel Smith, you've got a real the granulation on some of the colours are just great.
Yeah.
You get some really nice effects from them, and it's interesting because the only and again some of the colours, the variety that you get with the different makes is incredible. So, for example, Payne's Grey by Daniel Smith, I don't like. I really don't like it. So I think it's too blue for me.
Mm.
So my Payne's Grey, I always use De La Roni. That is my go-to for Payne's Grey.
Okay.
But in general, everything else, I really find the colours really pop with Daniel Smith.
Mm.
Um, well, and Ash, well, yeah, and the others as well. But you just get there's a sort of a texture that you kind of get used to, I think. Um, and everybody has their different ones, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave mine Daisy to dry for a bit, because this at the point, if I want to put in the red collar or the lead, or I might just eke out the nose, put a bit of grey in that. But apart from that,
Look at her.
then things will really go a bit too much. I'm very impatient. I don't always let things dry properly, but I'm going to
Mm.
move over to Big Nala now, and we'll just
Yeah.
same there.
Our bear, as we like to call her.
Yeah. Oh, that is so Tom. That really is. You've really captured her. Absolutely
Oh,
spot on.
oh, I'm so glad. It's really quite nerve-wracking. I'm just realizing that when you draw the pet of somebody who you know, it's a whole other ball game, isn't it? Because you've
No
really got that
pressure, is there at
emotional.
all? I'm a bit nervous actually.
I know, me too. That's why I'm going so much slower than I tend to usually. Um, like how do we and also knowing when to stop. I think that's the bit that I find tricky because I feel like I now just want to add a bit of definition and detail, but I'm going to let that art graph just have a chance to dry a bit, and then I think I'll go in with some of this blue ink tints. Um, when is my gorgeous new puppy arriving, Emma? It is
Oh yeah.
Billy. We're going to collect her in 2 weeks' time. We're driving to the Czech Republic, where she's currently still with her mom, and she's going to be the last one of the litter to leave, actually. So it's going to be really emotional for the breeders that have her at the moment. Um, the breeder was messaging us and saying that the last sibling of Daisy Bell, has already gone to the new home. And so the breeder was worried that she'd be sad. So the dog's been sleeping in her bedroom because she couldn't. She was worried that she'd be upset. So yeah, I think
Oh,
it's going to be.
that's cute.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be really hard for the breeder to say goodbye to Daisy Bell, because I think that's really her favourite.
Well, we nearly didn't get Tom because Tom is short for Thomasina. She's a girl dog, but
Yeah.
just use the matter. We gave her a boy's name, but she was a rescue puppy, and she'd been rescued by a lady who ran some stables and would often be over um in Ireland. And whenever she was in Ireland, she always used to stop by the travellers' sites, and she used to basically buy any puppies she saw from them. Over there's a bit of a history of using dogs for baiting and dog
Right.
fight, stuff like that. So she would just go in and grab all the dogs, pay them some money, and bring them back here and rehome them. Get the vet's bills out and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And which was a lovely thing for her to do. But she used to call Tom. Tom was called Frou Frou or Fluff Fluff because she was so fluffy as a little puppy. And again, she said, "Oh, I nearly considered keeping her because she's so sweet." So
Yeah.
at that point, I just looked daggers at her and I went, "No, she's my dog now. It's my
There's no
dog
way.
now. Absolutely,
There's no way.
yeah."
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Nala's original name from the breeder was BB Bailey. And I said, I'm not calling my dog BB Bailey. I'm sorry. Changing that right away.
I've a
Because,
friend.
yeah.
Sorry, it
No, go on.
just reminded me. I had a friend who's whose dog from the rescue was called Sausage, and they changed the name. And he says, "I, as a confident man, am not going to stand on the edge of the park shouting out sausage."
Absolutely. That's the test, isn't it? What is it, the name that you're happy to call them when they run off in the field or the park?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got to be something that does not make you feel ridiculous.
Yes.
So I'm now a bit scared I'm going to overwork. I have to be honest. So I have to really try to make sure that there's the nervousness of the audience as well. If there was no audience here, I'd be doing 4 or 5 different versions. And you know what? I probably still will. Once we're off
Yeah.
the call, I'll probably rework these a few times, um, just so that I feel like I've got the balance right. Because I want to make sure that your eye really just goes to the face. But yeah, I think I like that as the first place to start.
Oh,
Um,
lovely. Absolutely love that. Really do.
oh, I'm so
We're
glad.
gonna have to send. We're gonna have to ship these to each other. You know that.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. Well, what I'll do is I'll create a really high quality scan, because I've done these in my um sketchbook, but I can slice that out and I can
Oh
ship it
yeah,
to you.
yeah. No, we can do that. We can do that. It's a good
Yeah.
idea. But I should mention to everyone that we're in different parts of the world. I'm in the UK in the Forest of Dean, and Raj is over in Germany in
Yep.
Berlin.
Down in the south. I'm actually not far
Oh,
from
down in the
Munich.
south. Why do I don't get
Yeah.
Berlin from?
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe I haven't been clear in parts, but yeah, I'm down in the south, not far from Munich. And
Oh no, that's right. Yes, yeah, near
yeah.
Munich. Because we were going to travel over in the van a couple of years ago, and we were looking to hook up. I think it'll be
Yes.
last year or
Yes,
something.
yes. And actually, Emma Carpendale just messaged me recently to say that they're going to be visiting till at the end of August. So that's going to be amazing.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, how cool would that be?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm going to definitely meet up and
not
hang
jealous.
out. I've got to show you my warm up, Joe. I did
Oh,
this.
yes, brilliant.
So
Oh,
this is I was playing around with this as I was practicing with the art graph in the warm up session, and it's a much quicker one. But I wasn't sure whether I was happy with this paper because it crinkles a little. It's
yeah.
beautiful paper, but
Mm.
I think I wanted to go for something a little smoother. But yeah. That's the sort
yeah, I've got a top tip for crinkly paper, and I don't know whether you should be doing it or not, but it's what I found is, well, it's called cockling apparently
yeah.
when it buckles. Obviously you can tape it down and stretch the paper and all of that, but again, I'm not really one that then puts too much pressure on the piece of paper. So
Yes.
sometimes I'll use those gummed blocks where they're just, you don't have to worry about it keeps the paper flat. But when it goes like that, what I do is I have two big bits of watercolor paper that are clean.
Yeah.
I then just paint the back with a big brush, the back of the painting with water, just let it sort of soak in so it gets really damp. Put it between the two bits of paper and then put a heavy book on and like leave it for 24 hours. And
Oh,
and then it comes back nice and it should be nice and smooth
okay.
and flat. I think I need to put a bit of a hairdryer on. Can I mute myself here? Does everyone know?
You should be able to. I haven't checked the interface, but it should.
No, I'm just looking. No, it says wide spectrum audio for musicians. No, I don't
Yeah.
think.
I guess they don't imagine that you'd need to go live and not be able to hear anything. Maybe. I don't know. But maybe it is possible for. I'm sure you can actually, because I had to do it once when I was doing a live from a hotel and there was a lot of background noise. So I'm pretty sure you can. I'm just going to try and. So I've done that first drawing. So for anyone, while Jo is on mute, I'll talk a little. Um, I did this before we joined the live because I wanted to just get loose with the art graph. And then I have worked on my sketchbook and I've done this second version. I am going to just try and relax a little bit more into it because this is, I mean, in a way, this is kind of one of the reasons why I love doing lives because you kind of, you do kind of need to just like be okay with the awkwardness of it and making kind of mistakes. And I'm going to just try and make this one a little bit less nervous. So I'm going to try and be a bit looser with it. This is another reference of Thomasina, slightly cocked to the side. And I love it when you have this sort of overhead view because I feel like you can then, you really just get that big head. I hope that's big. I hope this proportion isn't looking odd. And then I'm going to just try and sort of get these like cute little feet in here. Uh, and yeah, just make a sort of a suggestion because often when you do take a picture of a dog from the top down, you get that depth of field. So you don't really have sort of a crisp bit down here. Um, so I'm going to just try and do this in a different way. So I'm sort of mapping the art graph. Um, and then I'll just try and build it a bit more. Let's see. Um, okay. Now maybe what I'll do is I'm going to try and go in with just to mix it up a little bit. I want to carve. Maybe what I'll do is almost like do a little bit of mapping of the edge. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm really putting myself out there right now with being experimental, but I kind of want to. I love that layering that you get, with it going over the top, and I like the feeling of these marks. So I'm gonna just get that big fun tongue. This might look really weird. Tongues are weird. Jo, what do you do about tongues? Do you have a tip for dog's tongues?
No, not really.
Sorry,
Um,
I'm just kidding.
yeah, it can be. It's important, I think, to try and get the shadow in. Sometimes you get that sort of so it doesn't look completely pink. As
Yeah.
so there's a like a graduating between usually like the fur, the mouth line, and I put in. So, I mean, I've just done sort of a bit of pink here for Nala's tongue, and I'm just going to go in with a bit of purple sort of shadow um, underneath, and then I'll go in a bit later with a bit more dark just to blend it into the fur. But I mean, yeah, really, um, yeah, there's always a bit of light generally that's being caught that the tongue catches. So there's always a bit
Yeah.
of lighter pink to a darker pink, and yeah, it's um, not really very useful. I don't think that was, but
No,
anyway.
I think it is useful because just even thinking about the shadow is helpful because it gives it form. So you don't just have this weird, big, like flat shape, you know. So I'm going to use some of this pencil just to give a bit of detail.
Zoom out again a bit because I'm going to go with the red of the lead and collar on Daisy. So that's dry now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more events lined up this year? I know you do some
Yeah,
dog shows.
I do. Now I've done them all for this year.
Okay.
This year's a little different, purely because I usually just do the one big show, which is Crufts in March. This year I did one in July because we happen to be in the UK.
Yeah.
Edition Dog Live, it was called. I've done some work with a dog rescue down in Brighton, and they had a art exhibition on there, so I did some work with them. And because I'm going to be in the UK longer this year, I'm not travelling quite so much as we normally do because I'm having a new hip in
Oh, yes.
next month. So that's sort of keeping me here a bit longer. But yeah, no plan for any more in-person events. That's me done for the year, which is
Oh, nice.
which is quite nice. I do time block stuff throughout the year because
Mm.
I don't like to. It just gives me a bit of structure as to this type of year I'm preparing for shows. This time of year I'm doing my art, doing my commissions for people.
Yeah.
Um, Sort of summer, I try and do new projects and prepare for Christmas. I know it sounds terrible, but
Yeah.
um, often Christmas is just around the corner,
Yeah.
always, isn't it?
Absolutely. So this one's gone a bit wild now. Um, but this is
Okay.
where I'm really in warm up mode. I'm like, okay, I want to keep it really, really loose and really fun. Um, and I'm not quite getting the whole thing, but I quite like that sometimes.
Yeah.
There are quite a few big dog shows here in Germany as well. Do you think there's one in Nuremberg that happens?
Oh, well, yeah. I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't looked further afield.
Yeah,
Um,
logistically, it's quite a lot, isn't it?
it is, and I mean, I do know because we do travel in Europe an awful lot, and I know really, not speaking German or French or Dutch fluently isn't really a problem, but it is also, I don't know, I feel an element of shame about it.
It doesn't make
Uh,
life particularly easy. It's not difficult, but it's not easy.
yeah, yeah. So, do you speak German?
I'm getting there. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm learning a lot from my son. I haven't had the advantage of like fully focusing on the language. I've been just
yeah,
picking it up really. And I think also because my work doesn't involve German colleagues, sadly, it makes
yeah,
it a bit more difficult. I think when you know you've got native speaking work colleagues, it really helps. But I have a good community of friends who are German speakers, and um, I'm really working on it. I can
yes,
get by with like the dog walks and the groceries and being
yeah,
out and about. I can make myself understood, but it needs more work for sure.
yeah.
And I am always being corrected by my 4-year-old, which is fun.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah,
Yeah. But it reminds me of when we were kids and I'd be out and about with my grandmother and she'd need us to translate things. And
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of in the same position.
Yes.
So it's quite funny. Okay, so that's the next one. This is great. Mm. Oh wow, I'm just looking at what you've got there.
Yeah, well, yeah, Daisy, what I've done is I've just I'm bleeding into the collar here a bit, but she's sort of, again, I quite like when that happens. Not everybody does. I don't like it to be too, what's the word? I guess formal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm nearly finished with Daisy. As soon I'll soon start to overwork if I'm not careful. So I'm just going in with just a few of the darker bits, just give it a bit of shape and sort of a contrast. As this here.
So you've given me some really nice images to work from, and I feel like what I've done so far is I've spent like a bit of focus time on the first two. But what I might do, again, I feel as though I'm trying to get myself looser and looser. For the last few minutes, I'm gonna try and just do two materials and just try and relax even more, because if you're watching this and you've seen me work before, I do this kind of loose. I call it warm ups, because by calling it warm ups, I feel like I'm giving myself permission to not be precious. Okay. And that's always the challenge. So if I'm truly warming up, Jo,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for you to be kind about how bad these could turn out of your precious dog. I feel like I need to just sort of caveat that from the beginning. Let's do these in a loose way, because this art graph is just such a joy to work with. Um, and so tell us about Thomasina's eye. You mentioned she's
Yeah.
bless her.
Yeah, she's only got the one eye now. Yeah, it came about. So she lost her eye. It'll be last year now. It
Mm.
just, and we thought something was wrong, and we'd actually taken her to the vets, and the vet missed it. But apparently that's not necessarily their fault. She ended up going to a specialist. It just blew. It looked like it was popping out of her head. It looked so
Oh,
painful and awful. And yeah, they did a lot of tests because we travel a lot with her.
yeah.
They did think initially that, oh, she's picked up a bug. Yeah, there's a nasty one in Southern Europe they can get. I can't remember. It's called parvovirus or something like that.
Okay.
And they thought maybe she'd got that, but thankfully she hadn't. And they think she had got some sort of infection, but it was uh, just something that had gone. Her immune system then went into overdrive,
Right.
and that is basically what happened. And it's sort of turned on itself, and yeah, the eye, you sort of couldn't be saved. And she's actually still on drops for the other eye.
Oh, poor
I
thing.
think she'll be okay, but yeah.
She says she's not too uncomfortable anymore then. It's at least
No,
got
she's absolutely fine. She's back to
okay.
her old self generally.
Oh, bless her.
But yeah, it was, yeah, oh gosh, it was an awful sort of time, because you just don't really know what's going on, and there's always
Yeah.
that sort of possibility that yeah, that something's going to happen that you don't expect, and it's like, oh gosh, are we going to, well, are we going to lose her? That was what we thought.
Yeah.
Um, thankfully not.
Poor puppy.
Not yet. Although she's getting up,
Yeah.
she's sort of getting on a bit. She's nearly 13.
Oh wow. She's
Yeah.
doing well.
And we got stopped by a lady once when we were out walking, and she said, "Sorry, I have to stop you and say hello to your dog. Looks just like one of my old dog, and they live to be 22." And we're like, "Oh goodness!"
Wow.
Like, oh,
Oh wow. That's kind of really nice to hear, isn't it? At least you feel
yes.
a little bit reassured by that. Okay. Now I hope I haven't just done it so that she looks like, what's that coming out the side of her head? Well, it's an extreme high angle and it's a tail. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just plonking in some burnt sienna in with the ultramarine, just to pick up, and I like it. They sort of mix on the paper and do their own
Oh,
thing.
beautiful. Oh, I love it. There's such depth to it. So much depth.
I was conscious of time. I'm going to have to go in with the hairdryer again, I think, in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to mix the purple. Let's do a bit of the tongue, a bit too purpley.
So I've actually cracked open a new pith sketchbook
Have
for you on
you?
this one. Well, this is
Oh,
the Pomelo, which is, if anybody watching wants to know, this is the Pomelo sketchbook. It's quite thin paper. It's not as sort of heavy and thick as the sketchbooks, like the Caro Cara and the Oro Blanco, which I also love. But what I love about this one is I use it as my workbook. So I love using it for warm-ups and for sketches and to be quite carefree, and not and unprecious. So yeah, and it was lovely to open up a new one right now.
oh,
And
yes.
get some.
And get a few pages in, so it's not
Yeah,
like that awful new. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to do anything.
yeah, and actually starting with dogs. I mean, couldn't be
Yeah,
better, really.
no.
I'll get some of that lovely milky brush pen around her.
I'm going to have to watch this back properly and see what you're doing, because
Yeah, me
it
too.
sounds fabulous from where I'm sitting at the moment, but you can't do everything at once, can you?
No. Oh God, I love brush pens so much. It feels like they just do the work for you with the texture. So satisfying. If anyone has just joined and has any questions about the materials, feel free to ask. I'm currently using a combination of things, but for this one, I've got this Pentel Milky Brush Pen, which I don't know if I can really explain it because I don't understand what sort of paint's inside, but you get this really beautiful texture, and I'm just really enjoying using that texture. And I've got the art graph tin, which I dropped
Yeah.
the lid for, so let me pick that up.
I should share. These are my favourite brushes that I've really moved into. I've got three ones. They're Pan Art, and they're this is rare with they're like mop brushes. So I've got three sizes, and these generally are the only three brushes I'm using these days. So
Oh,
share that.
are
I'm just
they
going to go on mute
natural
again.
fibers or are they
Oh,
synthetic
no,
fibers?
synthetic. I'm
Yeah,
synthetic all the way.
yeah.
Um, and I've got a couple of like Winsor and Newton sort of like round brushes, again synthetic, which are sort of I think a 10 and an 8 size. But yeah, so but yeah, generally I that's what I stick to. But I'm just going to pop on mute and finish off. So I'm going to hair dryer these. I'm going to get rid of the um, masking fluid. There's a couple of dots I put in, and then I'm just going to finish up. So
Great. Yeah, I'm almost just gonna.
that'd work well, I think. I hope. So
I'm also
I'll
ready
be in
to.
the.
Great. I'm gonna be ready to finish too. I'm just gonna try and add a little bit more definition around the eyes of this sketch, so that when you look at it, you can really see that that's the intention. Is that's the focal area. Um, so I've just opted for a Derwent Inktense pencil. I think for this, it doesn't need to be. It's any pencil that you like, really. But um, I like using blue as a dark tone, so that's what I've gone for. And just quite nice to put some of that detail in, so that it frames the face. And yeah, if anyone's just joining, Jo Scott is an amazing watercolor artist. Check out her work and her website, amazing watercolor dog portraits and more, and greeting cards and Christmas cards and all sorts. So stay tuned. And if you're new here, I've also just started offering dog portraits as well. So we thought it'd be just a really nice thing to come on, draw one another's dogs, and yeah, share the love really, because we both work in quite different ways. And it's just really nice to have that opportunity to draw together.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm back. I've just finished drying off. I'm doing it. I think this is dry. I just go in with my finger and just rub off some of this masking fluid. So it's going to leave some white spaces. Can you see that on there? Yes. Just. I think I'll work on my camera setup for next time. And then over here, really, if I zoom in a bit, if I can zoom in a bit, there's some really nice effects that have come out here.
Oh, lovely. Oh, look at
It's
her. Oh,
in terms of texture, and then all I do at this stage is it's not quite finishes. I'll go in sometimes. I mean, just like actually, I might just go in for speed.
yeah.
And go in with. I've got a Tombow. Um, what do you call these? Calligraphy pen. It says on the side, but it's
Yeah.
just this. And again, I just sort of go in and just make it just a couple of tiny adjustments. And if it was like a portrait, like official portrait or something, I'd generally go in with sort of like really dark darks, just for some final touches.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, gorgeous. Oh my God, that's just beautiful. And what is the paper you've been working on?
the paper is they come in. I like square. It's square size. I've just
Yeah.
started. I really like. So it is just actually I've got it here. Let me show you. It's De La Roni. Or De La Rowney, I don't know. It's interesting when you start talking about art supplies and people have different preferences. So it comes in this great big block. So there's loads of it. It's
Oh,
140
great.
cold pressed, and it's got a texture to it. I don't know. You can't really see that there, but
Oh, so
yeah,
it's cold, is it cold pressed? Yeah.
yeah, cold pressed.
Nice.
So again, and it's not mega expensive. So I can play around without getting too stressed out. But
Yeah.
I use for my portraits and for my my commission work, I tend to use Saunders Waterford is my
Okay.
favourite. Um and I quite like as well Bao, which is this is it's Bao, it's under like the Master's Choice selection. I think you get these from Jackson's sell them.
Okay. Okay.
Again, this is really, really textured and it's really, really soaks up the paint. So
Nice. There's a real kind of divide, isn't there, amongst watercolor artists about cold press versus hot press. Um,
there is, and on occasion, I really quite like using hot press. So it's
Mm.
uh, yeah, it certainly
Yeah.
for the dogs, for sort of my dog and cat paintings, and I do use cold pressed. It's my favorite. I feel it suits the style better. But if I'm doing anything
Yeah.
illustration wise or wanting to experiment a bit, then yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I really love hot press because I quite like working with the smooth surface, working the details with pencil over the top, and I find it a bit frustrating when the ridges get in the way of my line work. But
Yes.
so yeah, that's why this particular paper is the pith pomelo is as smooth as you can be. I mean, there's barely even on this one because it's
Yeah.
designed to be a note paper, really.
Yeah.
It takes all sorts well enough. As you
Yeah.
can see, there's a bit of crinkle on here, but I don't mind at all. But it's so smooth, and there's literally barely any grain. This paper here that I've got, I would like to mention it because it is really beautiful. These loose sheets. Um, it's a for anyone watching that's interested. It's the Canson Crocus sketch. And it's perforated so you can tear it off, which at first I hated, but actually I love now because there's no other reason I'd ever have a ring bound. Uh, you know, I hate ring bound stuff usually, but if you're able to tear out a sheet and get a really nice finish, then that's actually really handy, and it's a sweet size. It's quite thin. This is only 90 GSM. So it's a you can see that with the art graph I do have crinkle, but it's a really beautiful drawing paper. It's absolutely gorgeous for pencil and graphite if you use it dry. So yeah, it's a little bit of a discovery and I really enjoy it if anybody's interested. And it's kind of a lovely color as well. So if I just compare that with like a very, oh, I was doing some sketches with ink on like this recipe card. So you can see that this is a very white sheet and you've got a nice warmth to this paper. I think it takes ink quite well. Yeah. I do sometimes work outside of my sketchbook and I find that as liberating sometimes, just to be able to have lots of stuff that you can be quick with and then move away from. And then, if you've got anything wet, it can just dry and you can move on to the next thing. I wanted to this sketch I did of Thomasina before we went live because I was warming up. And in my water brush, I still had a little bit of remnants of a bit of paint that I hadn't washed out properly. And I just wanted to zoom in a bit there because I think there's such a beautiful texture that's come out of the graphite as it's dried and bled into the ink and the pen. Isn't it funny how often like the very first thing you do without thinking ends up being your favorite? That's
yes,
kind of
I think
frustrating.
it's almost guaranteed, and especially especially when you're just playing around and go, oh, just
Yeah,
then you're like, oh, I really like that. But yes,
yeah.
having said that, I like all of those. He's brilliant.
Well, thank you.
I'm
The
done.
main thing is that you recognised your dog. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So here we go. We have Daisy.
Oh,
You see a bit better.
oh, look at her. That's absolutely gorgeous. Oh
Yeah.
my God, my husband's going to be so thrilled.
And then we have
Nala.
again.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Oh, they're just beautiful. They're just
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay, so I will just quickly review what I've done. This was
Yeah.
the very first Thomasina sketch on
Oh,
loose paper.
yeah. Totally Tom. Totally Tom. I think they are in all of them. And I
Yeah.
think certainly when you're doing dog portraits, that's capturing that sort of essence is just amazing. It's just
Oh. Oh, I love it. And then I was a little bit more tentative with this one, but that's the second one. When you feel like you're now doing the proper
But
thing.
again, that just looks like her when she gets all prim and proper occasionally, and that looks exactly that's the expression she sort of gives you as if to sort of say, right, no, really, time you fed me.
And then this was from your other sketch, your other image where it's slightly to the side, and then the last one.
Yeah, no, brilliant.
There she
Again,
is.
spot on.
There she is. Oh well, there we have it.
Fabulous. Well, gosh,
There
thank
we
you for
have it.
joining me. Actually, you've been brilliant because it's just like you've run the show for me. So, and I've just painted. So, thank
Well,
you very much.
we've got the all important drying time to deal with watercolor, which it's helpful. But thank you for inviting me on, Jo. This has been amazing, and I feel like not only has it been fun, but now we have this incredible artwork of Nala and Daisy. I know, what a treat.
And I think we'll both be sharing it lots. I think so.
Yeah.
I think I'll do this as a like a replay on a newsletter, and probably the same with you.
Yes.
Think you get access to it as well, don't you?
Yes. Well, I can send you some of my sketches as images, and then you can pin them, and do the same.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Lovely. So yeah, anyone tuning in expect to be inundated with dog paintings from this session.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thank you
maybe
everyone
we'll have
who's
to do it again.
joined. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Have a great
Thanks everyone.
weekend.
Yeah. Thank you everyone, and yeah, see you on Substack. Okay. Bye.
Bye.